Let me share with you something that's pretty shocking. Only 6% of salespeople can be considered really, really good elite salespeople, people who know how to hit a quota, how to close deals, and how to succeed. And that means that 94% of the people out there who are calling themselves salespeople in sales positions, maybe even working for your company or trying to get a job with your company, are not going to succeed. In fact, 74% are complete and total failures. So the question is, what makes the elite elite, and what makes the failures fail? And more importantly, how do you, as the owner of a company, of an MSP, avoid hiring the duds, the 74% that are going to fail out? And how do you find, recruit, retain the 6% who are going to consistently hit quota and drive your business forward? That's what I'm covering in this video. Hey, Robbins here, founder of TMT, where we specialize in working with small, mid-size IT firms, MSPs, MSSPs, to help put strategic sales and marketing systems in place so that they not only get more customers, but higher paying, higher value, more appreciative customers so they can grow their business consistently. And this is a pretty shocking study that I recently came across. It was done by the Objective Management Group, and they did assessments with over 650,000 salespeople from across the country and across all industries. And here's what they found: that only 6% of salespeople can be considered elites, and 74% of salespeople fail out, meaning they are completely, totally waste of time. A lot of them are probably sales prevention. I'm sure you've run into them. I know I have. You're trying to give them money and they're making it really difficult and not helping you out at all. So the question then is, what makes the elites elite? What makes the 74% of salespeople fail or just completely burn out? There's probably a little, that little middle 15% that, they do okay, but they could do better, right? That's the question, because you, as the owner of an MSP, need to know how to build elite salespeople, or at least good people, salespeople that are productive, because what you want to avoid is hiring one of the duds that waste your time and waste your money and frustrate you and maybe even act like sales prevention. You don't need that. All right. So I have 5 things that I see consistently that the duds do that make them fail. And on the same opposite side, what do the elites do that makes them really great? And I'm going to cover that in this video. So I think the first thing that I've seen in not only managing salespeople, I mean, right now in my organization, I have over 20 salespeople, and we're growing that team every single day. And I started from scratch, like many of you. I was the sole salesperson in my organization. I was the person who took out the trash as well as made all the sales, right? So I've run sales departments. I'm running a sales department today. I've worked with a lot of MSPs. I've interviewed just a ton of salespeople for my company, but I've also worked with salespeople at MSPs. And here's what I can tell you: the number one reason why the duds fail out is because they don't realize they're in sales. And what I mean by that is they don't understand that their job is to sell things, right? So let me give you an example, right? Talking to a sales rep in an interview, right? And I ask, here's a sales interview question I ask, you should ask this too. I ask them, I say, what are you really good at? Now, what I want to hear is, I'm good at sales. I'm great at sales. I sell people, I sell things. That's what I'm great at. You'd be amazed how many people answer that with something else. They'll say, well, I'm really good at relationships. Yes, at relationships. I form great relationships. Okay, well, what else are you good at? Well, that's about it. I mean, really good at relationships. Now, here's the problem. If I hire that salesperson and I'm paying them a salary, and all the costs that come with hiring a new person, it's not just the salary, it's the technology, it's the time, it's the insurance, it's the payroll taxes, all these things. So when I hire someone, I'm putting an investment. That clock's ticking. I am losing money on that salesperson until they produce. Okay. So when I put that person in a chair and I give them the training and I say, here's the process, here's your list, go get it, right? Started on Monday, the whole week goes by. We get together at the end of the week on Friday, and I say, how did you do? Meaning, what did you sell? Really is what I want to know. And that salesperson says, well, I didn't sell anything, but I made a lot of relationships. planted a lot of seeds, talking to a lot of people. A lot of people likely might like me, making friends, got invited out to dinner. I built some great relationships. Okay. I need sales. Okay. There's only so many weeks I'm going to hear I'm building great relationships before I'm going to hear, hey, I made a sale. Their job is not to build relationships. Their job is to sell things. Now, yes, don't be an asshole, right? People got to like you. People do business with people they like. Okay. So yes, it is about building relationships, but it's about building a relationship where you sell something. So number one, salespeople got to know they are in sales and their job is to sell something, not to make phone calls, not to create proposals, not to kiss babies, shake hands, not to send out emails and post on social media, not to develop relationships. It's to bring in sales. That's number one. And really elite salespeople, they know that. They wake up in the morning thinking about where's my next sale coming from? How am I going to close sales today? They go to bed at night thinking about what am I going to do tomorrow to sell things. They sell. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the reason a lot of people fail in sales is they're not serious students about sales. Here's another interview question I'll ask somebody. Tell me how you learned to sell. And then I'll say, tell me what sales training that you've had. Maybe you won't be shocked, 74% fail, right? Common answer is, well, just kind of picked it up on the job, just started to do sales and, learned on the job, just started doing it. Now, let's imagine you're talking to a surgeon who is going to perform some kind of surgery on you. And you said, hey, how did you learn how to do open heart surgery or any surgery? Doesn't matter, whatever the procedure is. How'd you learn it? And they said, well, I just started on the job, started watching what the doc does, pretty soon was assisting, just made some mistakes, made a lot of mistakes. I learned from them, but I'm pretty good today. So just, on the job experience, right? You would run away from that doc as quick as you can. And it doesn't matter who the person is. If they're a serious student, meaning they're a serious professional, serious professionals invest in their education. They don't wait for their boss to put them through training and pay for the training. Really elite people know that, hey, the better I am at sales, the more money I make. I am going to invest in me because I am the best investment I can make. I don't wait for my boss to make me go to sales training or give me sales training. And yeah, as a boss, you should be providing your salespeople with sales training materials. Absolutely. But an elite person does not wait for that. They do it themselves. They're reading books on sales. They're going to workshops on sales. They're becoming a better salesperson because they are a serious student. On the opposite side of thing, again, why do most salespeople fail? They've never read a book on sales. Ask somebody in an interview, what's your favorite sales book of all time? And if they go, oh, yeah, I don't really, and they struggle, they don't read. They're making it up. They're lying to you. All right. Make sure you become a serious student. That's the number two. Number three, because they are not a serious student, because they haven't gone through any kind of sales training, they don't have a process. All right. So in sales, like any job, there's a best way to do something. There's not 100 best ways to close a sale. There's one, maybe two nuanced ways to ask for the order, to overcome an objection, to explain the value of what you do. There's one best way to do that. Find what it is and rinse and repeat. Lock it in, memorize it, train to it. So that way you're following a process. You never want to wing it. I mean, again, let me give you another example. Let's suppose you get on a plane and the pilot's got no checklist and they're just kind of like, well, there's no process or procedure here. I feel a little different. I'm just going to shoot the plane up there. I'm going to try a different approach today, because I'm feeling kind of bored, a little restless. I want to mix things up. So I'm going to take a different trajectory. I'm not going to follow all the signals. I'm just going to make it up as I go. Right. You would be like, holy shit, no, we need checklists, we need process, we need procedure. Why? Because it's important. There is one best way of doing something and you want to find out what it is so you do it every single time. Because when you play around and there's random acts in your sales process, in any process, that's where you can't get consistent results. That's where the things go off the rails. That's where customers have different experiences and you get different results, right? So you want to have a process. And part of being a serious student is learning the processes, documenting the processes, running the plays, practicing the drills so that you know it. So you're not having to go out of memory or have a script in front of you. You know what it is, you've trained to it, and you can just do it consistently every time. That is number three. Number four, reason why the duds are duds and the studs are studs, is that really great elite salespeople do not have emotional hangups about selling. They have confidence in themselves. They have confidence in their product. They're not afraid of talking about money and price and fees. They don't hide from those things. And because of that, they have no problem asking a customer to buy and even challenging them when they give excuses. And most salespeople fold up like a lawn chair when it comes to like a prospect, like gives them a little bit of an objection and they go, oh, they back right off of it and go, okay, fine, whatever. And they just accept it. A really good salesperson will listen to the objection and work through it with the person, maybe even challenge the person. Hey, hang on a second. In our organization, we're talking to MSPs and we say, you just told me you're miserable. You just told me you've been in business for 10 years. You've never broken the $1 million mark. You just admitted to me, you have no sales experience. You have no marketing in place. You don't know where to start. You don't know what to do. You told me you're in debt. You told me you don't know how to get out of this, and you're suffering. I'm showing you a program to move forward, and you're telling me you have to think about it? What are you thinking about? You want to go back and suffer for another 10 years? You want to think about whether this is good? That makes no sense. A good salesperson can challenge a prospect with confidence without being an asshole, without being, nasty about it. So that's what an elite person does. An elite person is not afraid of the confrontation. They're not afraid of challenging the prospect. They're not afraid of overcoming the objections. And they're certainly not afraid of asking for the order. And they do it with confidence, with the expectation that that sale is going to close. Let me tell you something. People who don't expect a sale to close typically don't get the sale, right? If you don't expect to win, the chances of you winning on whatever it is are very, very slim. All right. If you go on a diet, but you don't expect to lose weight, guess what? You probably won't. Right. So your expectations have to be that of coming from a place of confidence and certainty and strength. And that's what the elites develop because they have a process, because they've trained on it, because they believe in their product, because they believe in their service, and they have confidence in themselves. They're afraid. They're not afraid. They don't have that emotional baggage. They're not afraid of the no's. And number five, I think the 74% that give up, that fail, is just that they give up way too early. Because sometimes in sales, it takes some time to learn it. You have to take some swings at bat. You got to get your reps in. In order to get better at something, you have to practice it. And most failing salespeople give up way too easy, way too soon, way too often. And doing business and business in general, it requires, success requires a tenacity of sticking with something long enough to get the results. It's not a matter of, well, we'll give it a try and see what happens. Well, right now I can tell you you're going to fail. You got to start it with saying, I'm going to do this until I figure it out. When I teach my members how to do a marketing campaign, and let's say they want to hire an SDR, or they want to do a webinar or whatever. The thing I tell them is, don't start out by saying, well, we'll hire this person and see how it goes. You got to make a commitment and say, I got to figure out how to have a functioning SDR in my business. And if this guy doesn't work out, I'm going to hire another one. If that guy doesn't work out, I'm going to hire another one. I'm going to keep hiring and improving and learning until I get that function working in my business. And I'm not going to settle for poor results. Even if that means it takes 6 months, a year, 3 years, it doesn't matter. The tenacity of sticking with something until you figure it out is what's going to make you win, or the other people, they just give up, right? Or lose. If you're going to do webinars or public speaking or any kind of discipline in your business, you've got to be willing to say, I'm going to push through the failures. I'm not going to sit there and cry in my soup and say, well, that didn't work, and then not do anything, like not go back and try again. I'm not going to get back in the batter's box. I'm just going to sit on the bench and go, that didn't work. I'll wait till I have more time, more money, and I'll get around to doing it, or something. Oh, all these salespeople suck anyway. Oh, you can't find them anyway. Oh, we don't really need more sales. We're already, it's like the sour grapes, oh, I can't get those grapes. So they're probably bitter and sour anyway. I don't want them. Right. So good salespeople have to have that emotional strength to stick with it long enough in order to make it work. Okay. So these are just some strategies around how you, as the owner of a company, right? Maybe I'm talking to you, maybe you need those 5 lessons. Maybe you need to have that. But you also need to know kind of some of the interview questions and what to look for when you're hiring a salesperson. And that's why one of the things I'm going to recommend is that you join me at an upcoming 2-day deep dive workshop that I'm doing for MSPs, for our members. And any MSP, obviously we're opening it up beyond the membership, to come in and learn how to build a productive sales function in your business. Building a productive sales function means you got to have the right people, you got to have the right process. And that's what we're going to be talking about. How do you build that sales team? Who do you hire? When do you hire them? Who do you hire first? What are your expectations? How do you manage them? We're going to be talking about the process as well. You got to have a recipe to follow, because if you are going to be successful in sales, if your people are going to be successful in sales, even a good salesperson is going to come in and say, teach me how to sell around here. Teach me how to sell what you sell. And you got to have that process in place, because otherwise they're just going to be floundering around, wasting time, wasting money, burning salary until they can actually be productive. So this 2-day workshop we're doing is at the URL mspsalesroadshow.com. Again, it's mspsalesroadshow.com. It'll be somewhere, wherever you're watching this video, there's going to be a link where you can click on to go to that site and check this out. We're coming to 3 cities across America. This is a one-time event, meaning we are not going to repeat it. We have the 3 cities. Once we do it, we're done. Once we sell out the tickets, that's it. We can't fit more people in it, and we're not doing a virtual event. So if you're an MSP and you know you need a better sales function in your business because you don't know how to sell, you have no systems and processes, you don't know how to hire salespeople, manage salespeople, then you really need to be at this event. The price is minimal. If you're a member of ours, it's actually included in your membership, so there's no fee there, but you got to get to mspsalesroadshow.com before the event is sold out or, passes you by, and then you miss out altogether. Also on that URL is a free download that we have, a free resource, which is the MSP Sales Blueprint Playbook Checklist. And this is an outline of what you need in a good sales playbook for your MSP. And that's completely free. It's a great resource to kind of outline, your sales playbook, what's needed, what you're going to have in place. And that, again, is completely free. You can download it at MSP Sales Roadshow. But more important, get registered for the event. Seats are filling up fast. And once they're gone, folks. We cannot bring this. We can't manufacture more seats. There's fire codes and stuff like that. So make sure you get your seat. You don't want to miss this one-time event. So appreciate you guys. And click on the link to go to that website there somewhere around the video. And I'll see you at the event.